Hi everybody, Kate here with Kate's Collectibles, and oh my goodness, today I have got the Tuxedo Mirage Proplica. So this figure, if you want to call it that, it's really more of a music box, is from the end of the Sailor Moon S season. So if you're not familiar for some reason, maybe you haven't gotten there in your anime watchings yet, there's a cute little music box at the end that's playing the end song. It's got a little figure of Princess Serenity on top, spinning around, sort of dancing around. It projects images of Princess Serenity and the other girls in what's kind of implied to be sort of, I guess, princess attire or something that looks like it's from the past. It almost looks like it's projecting it. And then at the end, the moonlight sprinkles down and the figure of Prince Endymion appears with Princess Serenity. So this music box that they've created is a replica of that music box at the end. And it's supposed to have that sort of projection spinning and playing the music. And so when they announced they were coming out with this for Proplica, the first thing I thought was this was absolutely brilliant because we don't have a lot of items in some of the past seasons of Sailor Moon, if that makes sense. Like as the series goes along, you get more and more material to work with. With the first season, yes, you've got like the brooch, the transformation pens, there's the disguise pen, the star locket, and you're kind of done. Our wand upgrade, locket upgrade, pen upgrade. You've got the star pens now for the inner girls, and I guess maybe time key if you really want to stretch it, like Pluto's staff, but that almost becomes like more of a big deal in S. Like you just assume it's her weapon, but then there's more to it in S. So once you hit S, you start to get more things. You got, again, locket upgrade, no upgrades for the inner girls, so that's still the same. You've got the talismans, you have got Chibi Moon, so you've got like her locket, her wand, and then as the seasons go along, Super S, more upgrades, more wands, more lockets. You've got anything related to Pegasus. So I find that it just gets more and more complicated with items as the series goes along. So anyway, this is something that is not directly related to any of the characters. It's sort of a bonus. It's something I don't think any fan ever saw as actually being created. And it is not something, at least as far as my knowledge goes, that previously existed during the series' original run. Most of the Proplicas have been recreations, if you want to say, more accurate representations of past toys. And this is totally unique. So I'm really excited to open this up. I have opened up the tape that was on the back of the box just to make this easier in terms of accessing it for this video. And I apologize a little bit about some of the creakiness here. My equipment is a little bit out of practice because I haven't done a video for you guys in a while. So I'm gonna work with this a little bit. So with the front of the box here, and this isn't really the front, it's the top. So this is what you get when you're looking at the box. You've got this really cute pink and then the gray, which, two of my favorites together. Little crescent moon. We've got some of the gold here. We've got just kind of a nice pattern to the box there as we turn it. So on the one side of the box, we've got Prince Endymion. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit here. We've got Prince Endymion, nice gold reflective material there, and you've got like the figure. I kind of wish they'd actually used like a little anime stylized version of him here as opposed to the figure, because the figures are already on the top of the box, but it gets the point across, says his name there. Same thing, other side. And then Princess Serenity on the other side of the box there. And I love that in the gold, you can see that bit of a pattern in the moon. Really pretty. So this is the top of the box. Let me look at it like this. Now we have the warning. I pre-ordered this through my local comic book shop, Happy Harbor Comics, and they brought it in for me at, I think, a good price compared to, some of what if you're shipping from Japan, you add in shipping charges, you maybe add in proxy charges if it's exclusive. So their pricing is very, very reasonable, and they're a great shop. If you're local, I highly suggest checking them out. So we've got nice gold detailing here that's reflective as well as where it says Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. That's a nice gold metallic. I have got my, a little bit more of a, I guess, a yellow tint to the box than there is in real life, just the way it's looking on my camera. It's not 100% true, but that could have to do a little bit with my lighting. It's a much less yellow looking yellow. So this is not, I mean, it is yellow, but it's not this yellow. Little crescent moons in each corner. Like I said, the warning sticker. I was surprised that they actually didn't put the official license sticker up here. But we do have it points out that it's Figure Arts 0 and Proplica, so that's kind of a funny little combination. And then on the bottom of the box is where we've got all that stuff. So back here we have got a lot of warnings. As you can see, we've got the logo for the 25th anniversary up here, Sailor Moon. Then an example of what the music box looks like. As you can see, it looks like it's supposed to light up. Details on batteries, which for a change is not LR44 batteries. So I'm super excited about that because I have one set that I keep passing between my different Proplicas, and because they're not all being used, like, it really doesn't matter ultimately. You, like I've said in the past, you don't want to leave toys endlessly sitting with batteries in them, especially in packaging, because they corrode over time and you forget that they're in there. So not a great idea, but I like that this is like a regular battery. I think it's a AAA. And then we've got our official sticker and the Bandai and Tamashii Nations logos down there. A warning about it being for ages 15 and up. I don't know if I've noticed that before, but this is the English sticker that comes on the packaging as well. And it really is not a toy. It's not meant for little kids to be, you know, messing around with. Some of the other wands and lockets, I mean, if you don't mind the risk of it being dropped and broken, which is probably true of any toy, you can definitely get away with the fact that it's not, you know, not meant for kids, but this one, you definitely don't want anything to happen. So I'm going to slide the top off and we're going to see what we've got here. It's this nice pink detail all throughout the box. It's cute, actually. As I'm sliding it off, I'm noticing, it may be hard to see, but these little markers here, they're little hearts. They look a little bit like her locket. Not 100%, but a little bit. Okay, so I've got a booklet and the box in here all packaged in with the plastic. Looks pretty nicely held together in the box here, and I bet it's going to be probably a nightmare of small pieces to try and put back in. Let's start with this booklet. So we've got information on the Proplicas you can go online to find. And booklet. I believe this is the Tuxedo Mirage lyrics. Yeah, Tuxedo Mirage, Tuxedo Mirage, Tuxedo Mirage. So that's the lyrics to the song that play. It's sort of a representation of what it looks like during the credits. Not 100%, but really nice. There. Now, some people had commented on the figures being unpainted, sort of having that look. I believe that's probably more accurate to what it really looks like in the credits too. So there's the image. These are the images that sort of shine from the music box. So there's Serenity. We've got Mercury and Mars. Now, my experience with Sailor Moon in Japanese, like in English, the show came out and we had, so at the time, like I was watching from the beginning of the English dub. So we had the first season, we had a little bit of R, like pretty much just like through Anne and Alan, or Ale and Anne, and a little bit into Shibisa, and then it just repeated. So eventually we got the end of R. And here we go. Here's more images on the figures and some information about the box. Anyway, so I didn't get to see S in English. I saw, like, the English dub of S came out long after I had seen all of what was out for Sailor Moon. Here's stuff about the combination. And a nice picture of the music box on somebody's nightstand, which I have strongly considered for myself, except that I'm worried my toddler might accidentally wreck it. And so, oh, nice. So my experience with S had been in Japanese for quite some time, so I was, I guess, well aware of some of this prior. Nice And so my understanding, the first time I saw this was like, oh, these are their princess dresses, right? Like Serenity has her dress, these are their dresses. Obviously, the manga has their own princess dress style. I like to maybe think of these as like some of their maybe like their attending dresses, like it's formal dresses, but it's not their princess attire. It would be something they might wear when they're out with Serenity, protecting her somewhere in the past, you know, where they're just like out. Maybe it's like casual soldier slash princess attire. Okay, so here's all the instructions. So we've got the music box, the two figures. We've got the toppers here for them. There's the cards. So this one is like a full scape of the Moon Kingdom, and then this one, this is all the characters, and it looks like, from what I can tell, it's almost like there's two versions of them. I'll definitely have to see what it looks like. Information on the bottom, so warnings about the bottom being delicate. Oh, I'm going to need to get a little screwdriver to open this up because I don't think I have one handy, so maybe a little edit. Batteries, slide the cover back on, seems pretty simple. We've got an on-off switch for A version and B version, so that'll be interesting. We've got how the series of bases attaches to the top. So you've got, and how you slide the panels in. So you have to take this off to slide whichever panels you want in. So you can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So one will go in this position and you'll work your way around. So that's kind of nice that you can change it out so you don't have to have it doing the other ones. Version 1, A version, B version 2, so information about the LEDs. There's the button that you press on the bottom there. And you can choose to attach the figures. So there's setup 1 and setup 2 with both figures present. So she's kind of on the edge, whereas he's more directly in the middle, if I'm reading that correctly. Okay, and the back, which just shows the music box. I guess they're kind of sharing it. So let's take out what I've got here, and we'll see. Aha. Let's look at this Serenity figure first. She's kind of double packaged in here. She's well protected with paper. She's very bendy. She's actually bendier than I thought she'd be. Like, she looked really rigid, but she's actually like a softer sort of a vinyl. I love that from the back. Like, how pretty is that? Her skirt, you can see her feet just a little bit there. Shoes. She's got that cute little base to attach her to the box. Really cute little figure of her. And there was a piece, one of the bases here, also really well packaged. They sure love packaging things. Oh, it's the full base. Okay, so let's take that off and take that off and take that off. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of things to take off. Let's see here what we've got. Okay, so we've got this piece of the base and this piece of the base. They sort of clip together. Aha, okay. So if I'm understanding correctly, this piece comes out of the middle of this piece, so you can pop that in, or you can use this one. You can place Endymion on it and Serenity on the small one. I think anyway, because she obviously aligns with this hole, right? So she's like that. I'll just set her over here and we'll see what we got there. Now, one thing I just noticed as I'm pulling stuff out is, I don't know if you can see this at all. Inside the box lid, it says something about Tuxedo Mirage music box, maybe? Memorial music. yeah, so anyway, there's some writing on the inside that I obviously can't read, but it's just kind of cool. I just noticed that because it's sitting beside me. So in terms of taking out the music box itself, I want to be really careful. All wrapped in paper and taped, unfortunately, so that means I'm going to be ripping the paper. Okay, so as you can see, oh, this is so pretty. The box is a decent size, like fits in the palm of my hand. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but it doesn't feel as heavy as I thought. I guess I don't know really what I thought it was going to feel like. You can see the Moon Kingdom there, and then as you move around, a little tough to see, but there is the whole image going around it. Button to play it on the bottom of the box there. Nice light button. The bass, you can switch the version and the volume. There's a volume control, so you can have it louder and quieter, it looks like. It's on the middle right now. I wish they would come up with some kind of like a push button system for these. Like having to bust out a screwdriver is really silly. It's a really nice gold. Again, it's showing up a little bit more yellow with my light. Like you can see there, like kind of more what the true gold color is like, as opposed to when I've got my camera directly at it. That piece came off the top. So much packaging. And there's the circle in the center for these to be placed on. Feels very light. Doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel as like sturdy as I would think it should. I can lift up there for that. I'm going to have to look at the notebook again to see how I take that off properly because I don't want to damage it, but we'll have to open that up too. And what else do I have in here? Okay, we have Endymion hiding in the bottom. Seems appropriate. All wrapped in paper. A little base protector. So there he is. Again, vinyl. Softer plastic. They're a very peachy color. There's not much gold to him. There's a little bit here. I like that his hair is a darker gray, just like hers is, you know, more yellow, so that you see that difference. But he's got his hand out to her. It's really nice. I wish there was more merchandise of him in his Prince Endymion outfit, quite frankly. I'll just set him there to wait. Cards. So these are the different inserts. And it does look like there's two versions of these inserts. So as you can see, there's the two versions of Minako, right? There's like a closer up version and then a further away version. One has the flowers, I guess, more around her. It's funny because like they look different a little bit, like the picture looks different, but I don't think it is. Her eyes look darker in this one. I'm not 100% sure on what the two versions thing is. I think I need to go back and watch my watch S, because I'm sure it must have shown them from a couple of different versions. I just don't know why. So there's one. They're a little bit translucent. You can see the light coming through that really beautifully. There's Jupiter, Serenity, Mercury, Mars, and Neptune and Uranus. And then, so this is the other version of the cards. So they're just a little further back, I guess, is what I would say. Like you get more in the image. Yeah, I'm just not really sure what difference it makes, to be honest. Like one set, I mean, I'm all for options. It's just sometimes for me it's too much because I'm not going to go to the trouble all that frequently of changing these out, more than likely. I actually really like the moon like the Moon Kingdom scape that it comes with. I like that background. And that's it. Empty box. So I'm going to see if I can take a quick pause. I'll be back in just a sec. You won't even know what with the edit. And we'll see if I can get this opened up and get some batteries inside. Okay, back. So I found a couple of interesting things in looking at the information about the music box. Really easy, actually. My complaint about the screwdriver, totally unfounded. So what they've done is, this is a teeny tiny push button. Let's see if I can correct. Okay, so with this button, you're going to push with something firm. I was going to use a pen, but I don't want to leave ink on it. I do have a little pin here. Obviously, you want to be careful because it's delicate. You push in and you slide the cover like that, and it pops open. Really easy to get into this battery area. Right there in the bottom, I've got a few batteries here that I'm gonna plug in. They are, in fact, triple A's. Thank you, Proplica. I am so sick of those other batteries, which I used to be able to find at the dollar store and couldn't the last time I was there and wanted to. Now sliding the cover back on, you want to line up the side with the button. Oh, get on there. Get on there. A little bit of pressure, slide it back. Really super easy. This is the easiest one to get into yet, and I love that. Big kudos to Proplica. So we've got our volume controller AB, but before I deal with any of that, I'm going to show you how to deal with the top. So you're going to pull this piece off first to get access to bring this off in case you're wanting to change out these discs. Now it feels a little unnatural to pull on it because it feels like it shouldn't come off, but it does. Just a gentle pull straight towards you. And then this piece lifts right off really easily. Now, one thing I didn't notice on these cards is, and looking again, they don't have it. These cards have numbers, so you know what order they go in. So if you pull one out, because they just slide out, this one has a number 2 in this upper right corner that hides behind the edge of this. Ultimately, I mean, you don't have to put necessarily like number 1, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to put number 1 in line with the button, but if you were going to, then that would make sense, and it gives you a basis for how to do this scene. I don't think it's that complicated, honestly. Any fan will be able to put this together. You can see the little light base down here. And then you just slide cards in and out. So I'm going to start with it like this, just because I don't see a reason to take them out yet. One thing I did notice when I was feeling it, though, is when you're sliding these discs in, sometimes it seems to get a little stuck down at the bottom. It doesn't go all the way. If that happens, just gently slide it forward, push it a little bit so it kind of seems like it's coming out. So you can see there, it didn't line up with the bottom. It's hard to see. It's not in all the way. So I just kind of had to wiggle it a little bit until it went in. So just gentle and patience, and it will go back in for you. If you're done putting your cards, then you return this on top and you put your base back on here. So that's all ready. Then you would put your base for these. So if you weren't going to put Serenity on, if you were just going to use the base figure, you would use this one with the circular disc to fill in the space. That's what this set is for. If you want Serenity only, this set, Serenity here, circular base in that hole there. And if you're doing both of them together, this set with both of them on top, which is what I'm going to do right now, because I want to see them together. They belong together. Now, see, this set, it really does not have a lot of weight to it, and that is why you need that disc if it is just her up top. It basically just rests in this figure, as you can see, like that. There's like no clip to it whatsoever, and my standing here, I guess, is a little bit maybe unstable. I wish that it had a little bit more stability to it, because I think it's a bit of an error on their part, given that it's an expensive figure. It feels a little bit cheap that it doesn't have anything that locks it or clips it in place. And it seems like it should, but it doesn't. I mean, even if you look at the instructions, right? It's like, I mean, once you've got the cards in, place this piece. You've got the white portion on top, place it on top, place it on top. Like that's all there is to it. There's no instructions about being gentle or delicate like here, where it's talking about pushing the button in delicately. That's it. So I'm gonna see if we push the button, what happens. Oh, nothing, because I didn't turn it on. Ha 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 ha. Let's start with A. Okay, so I've pushed A. So it's playing the Tuxedo Mirage music. As you can see, there's sort of, it's not the moon, it's the sun, basically, that comes and goes in that corner. And I believe that's the projection. So this is whatever it's going to project for those cards. For the girls, it's going to project from there. That's my understanding anyway. I'm just going to turn it around so you can see how it lights up. It looks really pretty. I wonder if I can line that up. It's hard to tell with the lighting. Now that it's lit up, you may not be able to see it, but I can see a little bit of the speaker that's inside. Now this is the medium volume. It's not terribly loud. I'm going to try and lift it up to the louder volume. If I press the button again, it stops. So it does turn off, which is nice. Okay, so we're going to raise the volume. And we're just going to see, I'm assuming a long button press makes no difference. See how they slide around? Like if you have to lift it up to do anything, you really have to be careful. That makes no difference. It just starts again. Now B version, I'm assuming it would be the version with lyrics because they had that translation or the lyrics in the book. Let's try it. Yeah, it sounds like the ending music, not like the instrumental. Still not super loud, but that's not a bad thing. Oh, this makes me feel so nostalgic right now. Now with the loudest volume there, I am getting a little reverberation from the speakers as it hits like the, I guess the more intense parts of the song. So we'll stop it there, take a quick pause. I'm going to put in the princess cards and we'll see what happens after that, see if I can maybe see the projection or something. Okay guys, as you can see, I've got the princess cards installed, and in looking at it, I did figure out one thing that for some reason I should have realized before I started talking to you guys. Once the lights came on, I for some reason was under the impression that it was going to move around, almost like do a little bit of the projection thing that it does in the show in the ending, and it doesn't do that. So that little I guess sun crescent, like it's not a moon, right, because they're on the moon, that little light thing continues to do what it did before as the thing spins around, but it just stays in the same place. It doesn't move, and so nothing projects. So a little bit of a disappointment, in my opinion, regarding that. I think that's a real missed opportunity because that kind of projection technology has been in children's toys forever. It's not something new. It's not something terribly unique. I don't know what would have been involved in terms of them having that crescent moon look on the outside, but then having something built in on the inside that was spinning that had some area it was projecting. Because I think that would have been truly, truly brilliant. So I'm not going to take the time to do both sets of cards, but I will show this particular set of cards. And I didn't install them in any particular order, so the light's actually going to be going above like Venus's head over here. And it is a shortened version of the song, I found out as I was listening to it. So I placed the regular bass on top, and we'll just listen to it one more time. You can see how it lights up there with everybody. So it looks really pretty. You've got the light at the base of each character, just lighting up the look of the card, which is really quite nice, actually. I find that when the character cards are installed like this, like it looks really cool. It looks more like a toy, I guess, with the pictures like this. Whereas I find with the Moon Kingdom cards, it looks a little bit more, I don't want to say fancy because that's clearly not the right word, but it does. It looks a little bit more expensive, maybe. There you can see that little crescent moon sun thing went past her head, and you can see that little glow of orange there that stays. And then it turns itself off after that portion of the song. All in all, I really love the music box. It's a really unique item to have in the Proplica line. It is totally different than any of the character items, which are what I usually focus on collecting, specifically Isaki's. I'm not I guess 100% completionist, don't have to have absolutely everything out there in the world, but I do like the character items. I just find them to be something really unique and special. This is definitely unique. I think it's something that only probably pretty hardcore fans like myself are going to be going out of their way to collect, just because it is something so different, and it's part of the Proplica line. If you love the song, if your favorite season is S, if you just have that nostalgia for that ending sequence, how romantic and pretty and all that it is, then it's an absolutely beautiful figure to have. It's not something I'm going to necessarily play around with. It's not something that's going to be a toy. I do kind of want to put it in my bathroom because I have an area near my sink where I get ready. It's a really pretty countertop. And anyway, I think it would just be a really pretty place to have it where I'm actually getting to see it and use it a little bit here and there, without it being too close to somewhere that my daughter can mishandle at this point. So I will probably set up the cards again for the Moon Kingdom and put that in place there, along with the figurines on top. I personally don't see any reason to have this out without the figurines on top. That's like the most beautiful part of it. You've got those beautiful figures that spin around like they're dancing. So I would certainly want to put them on top. If you're not a big fan of S, you're not a completionist, the Proplicas aren't your thing necessarily, the music isn't your thing necessarily, this is a very expensive item in the realm of Sailor Moon stuff that you could very easily avoid and go for something else. So, for example, if you're a Shibi Moon fan, well, there's nothing on here for her. I mean, she's not even one of the characters, right? Like, even though she's in the S season, she wasn't in that ending sequence. She didn't have a picture to go with any of this. She's not part of it. So if Shibi Moon's your thing, then there's no point getting this because it's not going to do anything for your collection other than be a thing that you have. I do think that hopefully over time you will see the resale on this be quite strong, because it's so different and unique. For years, some of the most expensive items to buy on eBay have been things like the items from Super S, like the Pegasus related stuff, the orb. I can't remember what that's called. The Stallion Reeve, I think maybe. Some of those kinds of items, the things that were harder to get or a little bit different. So I feel like over time this will totally hold its value with collectors. It will be something desired because it's so different, but don't just buy it because you're hoping that one day it's going to be worth a lot of money and then maybe you can sell it. I mean, we're talking years down the road. And let's face it, Sailor Moon fans are getting older, especially fans of the vintage stuff. And with all of these new things coming out, I just don't see it being as likely that some of these items are going to get those like $800 price tags that we used to see on eBay for things. So buy it if you really love it. Buy it if you love Serenity. Buy it if you love Proplica, if you're a collector like me. But don't buy it just because you feel like you have to have it in your life because you like Sailor Moon. Only buy it if you really love it. I think it's pretty fantastic for what it is. I think there's a few missed opportunities. I think maybe making it out of a slightly more durable feeling material, something with a little more weight to it, would make it feel more expensive. And I understand why they make it light, but it would add to it a little bit. Having made the base portion on top clip in a little bit so it felt a little bit more steady, a little bit stronger, and having something where it could actually project the images of the characters would have been fantastic. If there is a way for it to do that, and I just don't seem to be figuring it out, please let me know in the comments below. You can, of course, like, comment, share. Tell me if you bought this particular Proplica and what you think of it. I love to hear other people's opinions on the items. And what is the next piece of Sailor Moon merch that you really desperately want to see? Doesn't matter what they've announced. What do you want to see out there? I would love to hear in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. More videos coming from me in the next little while. Thanks again.